Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Everything is Bad new Fangled Motion Picture Show.
Welcome, one and all, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, to another episode of the new Fangled Motion Picture Show. As per the usual, I am Niall.
And I'm Nolan.
And today we're going to be reviewing Bloodfest, the latest feature-length movie from Rooster Teeth. Who, once upon a time, I would have said, if you know of them, you probably heard of them as the creators of Red vs. Blue. Anymore, I think I'd get a more of a reaction out of people if I told you they're the creators of Ruby.
Yeah, I think so.
So this is their third feature-length movie?
Third feature-length movie.
After the two Laser Team movies?
Yes.
And so... yeah.
This may not be playing anywhere near you at the time of recording.
Yeah. So, we're going to be doing a spoiler-free review. That's what we normally do. And then we do a spoiler warning. And we go more in-depth into the movie after that. So... I would like to say, I enjoyed this movie.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty darn good.
It's a horror comedy.
Yeah, with a lot of homages and whatnot to classic horror and classic horror comedy.
Yeah, it almost feels like an excuse to get as many different horror tropes and genres in there together.
Yeah,
as you can.
And it feels like something that is an homage or tribute. That was a bit of a whistle there. An homage or tribute to like the Evil Dead series.
Yeah, well, there's something
and like those kinds
in there
of
that's specific.
movies.
Yeah,
without feeling derivative.
Now, don't confuse this movie with Hellfest.
Is it Hellfest?
Hellfest. It is Hellfest, which is a very similar premise. I don't think Hellfest is a horror comedy, though.
I think it's just a horror movie.
Straight up horror.
Yeah. Which is going to be weird because I could see years from now people thinking that this movie is a comedic parody of that movie.
Yeah, this
which is unfortunate for this movie.
Yeah, this movie premiered at South by Southwest, I think. In the initial premiere, and then they've taken it other places.
Yeah, it's
like
been
the
to
Edinburgh International Film Festival.
It's been to a bunch of film festivals around the world.
And we saw it at RTX.
Yeah, they had a special early screening at RTX. I believe August 14th, I want to say, in the US and Canada. There was like a Fathom event for it, and then I know there's a showing date in the UK. I don't know when it is though, but they also get to see it. But anyway, so yeah, this movie, basic premise, won't spoil anything, but the basic premise is this kid who's obsessed with horror movies and stuff, for reasons I think we'll get more into in the spoiler section.
Yeah.
Wants to go to this festival that's like an all-night, it's on Halloween, I think.
Yeah, it's all night. It's like a horror theme park. They like turned a ranch into a horror theme park or something.
Right.
With
and
each area is like an homage to a specific subgenre of horror.
Right, and I mean, it's a specific movie that exists within the world that this movie takes place in.
Yeah, so like their slasher film is The Arborist.
The Arborist,
yeah.
Which was I think that was probably my favorite section of the movie, is when they're in that area. I think that was just the most well-developed.
Kills everyone with like with gardening equipment. Yeah.
Yeah. But there's also they're all movies that exist within the universe of Bloodfest, but they are of the chosen. They're each of the main horror genres. So you have zombies, slasher,
Killer clowns, and
crap. What's the Saw genre?
Torture dungeon. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a name for it. I'm not a huge fan of it, so I don't even remember. What it's
there's
called.
Also some like a vampire coven.
Yeah.
There's references to The Ring, or those, not specifically The Ring, but those Japanese horror movies with the girl with their face covered in hair.
Yeah.
There's a lot of those.
Yeah, so it covers pretty much all the bases of like your classic horror movies. I think there's even a small reference in there to found footage.
Is there?
Yeah, there's a shot or two that are like people's selfies that they're or like videos they're taking on their cell phones and stuff.
Right.
But yeah, so they go to Bloodfest. Turns out that it's a way to get a bunch of people in an area. They lock all the gates and then they start actually killing all the guests.
Right. Oh, and by the way, there's some faces in here you might actually recognize. Jacob Batalon. I don't know how to pronounce Batalon.
Batalon.
Yeah, from Spider-Man.
Yeah, he's Peter Parker's friend.
Yeah, and or Zachary Levi has top billing,
and he plays Peter Pan in one.
Zachary Levi plays Zachary Levi.
Yeah, no, Zachary Levi. No, sorry, I didn't even hear you said. I can't hear it on my left ear.
Robbie K.
Robbie K. Who plays
Peter Pan.
Peter Pan. Yeah, Zachary Levi plays himself. And that was a pretty funny scene.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I
think they even make reference to him being Shazam.
Yeah, they do.
In that, because he's playing Shazam, if you're unaware.
I can't remember if they made reference to him in the movie or if it was the afterward Q&A.
Yeah,
they talked about.
Yeah, there was a Q&A after
days
the movie.
ago. It kind of all blurs together.
And
but
there's
anyway,
a Q&A after the movie that was a while. So
yeah, but yeah, and it has all the trope, stereotypical characters for horror in there. And let's see. It has Nicholas Rutherford in it. He's been in like quite a bit. Is like sort of like smaller roles mostly, but he's been in a bunch of stuff that like like nerds will have seen. But and then because it's Rooster Teeth and they just got to throw in some of their own people, it also has Barbara Dunkelman in there, and then there's a bunch
of cameos
from people from Rooster Teeth. But
it's let's see. The movie itself though was it not rated? I'd say it's pretty PG-13 though.
Yeah, there's no nudity.
There's some swearing, but it's not a lot.
There's some like really cartoonish levels of blood, like blood splatter. Was there any like gore?
They did a lot of mostly cutaways when they were killing people. There's a lot of cutaways and then splatters,
which is also an old horror trope because it was cheaper to cut away and splash fake blood.
Well, also, I mean, really old horror, you couldn't show that sort of stuff anyway.
Right. But like the 80s slasher flicks and stuff like that, they would cut away, splash a bunch of fake blood onto the actors so that they didn't have to like make special effects for disembowelment and stuff like
that. Was it Alfred Hitchcock when he talks about he's dead, when he used to talk about how when he made Psycho, in the shower scene he cuts away.
Yeah,
you never see it, but people filled that in and they swear like on a stack of Bibles that they saw, and like they had people come to him, how can you show someone getting stabbed? And he's like, I didn't show that. And he's like, no, I swear it, I saw it.
Yeah, you sort of infer in your mind.
Didn't ever happen. And till his dying day, he would argue with people over like, no, you never saw anyone get stabbed.
They did show a couple of people get stabbed or cut in this. There were a couple shots of that, but it was like knife goes across the skin, blood trickles out.
Yeah.
You know, there was never any like guts spilling and stuff. I don't think.
No, I don't think so. But yeah, it's so I'd say it's pretty PG-13. But yeah, it's if you like horror movies or you're a fan of anything, I mean, it's just the whole thing is just sort of like this love letter to horror movies.
Yeah.
And just so many just little tricks, and it's actually a genuinely funny movie. And
it is. There weren't many. I don't think there were really any jokes that just didn't land. Some were a lot funnier than others, but yeah, overall, like it had the right balance. So it had the, it wasn't like the movies like Scary Movie and those other
it wasn't a parody. It wasn't a parody
like,
of horror,
right? Where it's like, yeah, there's a couple of kind of scary moments, but it's mostly just stupid slapstick comedy. It was
more like oh, what was that movie with Seth Green? Idle Hands.
Yeah.
Where it was a zombie movie, but it was more it was as much comedy as it was a zombie movie, and it wasn't parodying zombie movies. This is a lot like that. It's comedy and it's horror.
Also, something else I would like to point out is, so this movie is very indie. Rooster Teeth, as far as movies go, they're a small production house. Like I said, this is only the third movie they made, but man, they did a lot with what their apparent budget was. I don't know how much they had to spend on it. Can't imagine it was a super big movie. Someone actually asked them directly in the Q&A, and they sort of sidestepped that answer.
Right.
But it can't have been that much. But like the costuming and the set design were really good in this movie. I mean, and it helps that you're setting it in a place that's meant to look like a cheesy horror movie.
Right.
So, you can tell these are all fake gravestones. Well, that's because they are. They're supposed to be. Stuff like that,
Not like Plan 9.
Oh god, not like Plan 9 from Outer Space. And then, but yeah, the costume design was really well done. I really liked the pigs in the aprons with the chainsaws, or like the people wearing the pig heads,
the pig masks. Yeah,
pig masks. That was really cool. And the design for the arborist was really cool. Like it looked like honestly a really good slasher villain.
Yeah, and the main bad guy, his whole outfit was pretty cool.
It was. So yeah, I highly recommend this movie. If you go check it out. Like I said, I'm pretty sure it's August 14th. In America and Canada. I don't know what day it is in the UK. I'm pretty sure it's a different day though. I should have looked this up.
I don't remember if it's earlier or later either. They mentioned it all at the Q&A after the movie.
Yeah. Like I said, I didn't pay attention because that didn't affect me. Because if I'm gonna go see it again, I'm gonna go to the one that's in America. So I didn't pay attention to what the UK date was, but go check it out. But I think that's kind of all I have to say without spoiling anything.
Yeah, I think so.
So, henceforth, spoilers, potentially.
Yep. So,
yeah, I mean, I thought the motivation for the kid's father, Dax.
Yeah.
I thought his father, Dr. Conway, his motivation, I thought was actually pretty good, considering like this is supposed to be a pretty cheesy, tongue-in-cheek sort of movie.
Yeah.
And he's a psychiatrist. Who
one of his
patients killed his wife, the main character's mother, and since the main character and his mother used to watch a lot of horror movies on Halloween and stuff, that's why he's obsessed with horror.
Yeah, and then also the murderer had this he believed he was a character in a slasher movie,
right?
And so he snuck into the doctor's house, killed the doctor's wife, the main character's mother.
Yeah, and so the being obsessed with horror is an extension of like that last like connection he has with his mother, and then his father takes it a completely different direction
And blames horror
and blames
for
horror for it. And so he's like releasing. He's when the movie takes place, he's about to release a book that talks about how horror movies are, you know, corrupting the minds of youth in America or whatever. And you know he can't have his son off at Hellfest when he's about to release this book. So he's trying to, he tells his son he can't go to Hellfest. Really, the reason he doesn't want his son to go to Hellfest because he orchestrated the whole thing to show people, yeah, look how evil horror is.
right. And the guy who's running Hellfest, he's going along with it because he's like, I'm gonna get He's a film director. He's like, I'm gonna get the most realistic footage ever because it's actual people getting murdered.
It's funny because he's the film's director.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, this bad guy, he's played by the director of the film.
which that dude,
That guy had so much energy.
he had so much energy, both like during like before when they came out to introduce the movie, then during the Q&A, and in the movie itself.
I think he was on speed.
He was really pumped, man. Which is good because like he came out and got the audience all riled up, which is kind of what you want for this kind of movie. You want the audience laughing and cheering and clapping and all that throughout the movie because it's kind of movie it is,
Right.
And so that was pretty cool. I think that was a very cool, unique experience that I think you just wouldn't get necessarily. It's because like he basically came out, got the audience riled up, and in the mentality of like it's okay to cheer and laugh and clap during this.
Yeah, although sometimes it's annoying when everyone is like cheering because like someone they recognize comes on screen.
Yeah,
and you're just like trying to watch the movie.
that can be annoying. But didn't really take away, so but yeah, he wants to create the most realistic horror movie ever. And so he's the one who's running Hellfest and all the murdering on behalf of the main character's father, Dr. Conway.
Because Dr. Conway wants to be like, look at all these murders that happened at Bloodfest, not Hellfest.
Bloodfest, sorry. Yeah, I misspoke earlier.
Proof that horror is horrible.
Yeah.
And so like part of the premise is like horror movies have rules to them. And so our main character, since he is obsessed with horror movies and he's seen every one of them, he knows these rules, and so everyone's turning to him like, okay, how do we get through this situation? Like, well, we should,
Yeah, like never split up the group, things like that.
At one point, because a lot of these murderers, and there are also this guy's patients, and he has purposely manipulated them into thinking that they're these characters that are now going around killing people.
Yep.
And so
one of the clowns.
Yeah, the clowns he found.
Clowns I found on Craigslist.
Yeah, clowns he found on Craigslist.
Which I love the implication that like any regular clown is a murderous clown.
But he has this like one of his patients he's convinced is the arborist, and the actual actor, like the actor who played the arborist, or the character who is the actor who played the arborist.
Yeah, so in the movie they meet up with this old man who used to play the arborist.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with the person playing the villain in the movie, the arborist.
Yeah. And so the way they get by the arborist is the Dax, the main character. He coaches this actor who he just wants to forget all about these roles that he did.
Yeah, they were his first roles. They were stupid. He hates them.
Yeah. So, but he can't get away from them. So he coaches him to because he knows that the character's motivation is revenge against the people who killed his father.
Right.
And so he has him play the character's father.
Right.
Right, and talk the the arborist down from, murdering everyone. It's like, just give me the trimmers or what, and gets him to talk him down from, because the guy believes that he is this character. The arborist does.
That was a pretty scary looking slasher villain, though. The arborist. He's just like, first of all, they got Adam Ellis, who's just
he's a big dude,
like the biggest dude ever,
with
like,
a huge beard.
lumberjack beard that goes like down to his stomach, with like these scary welding goggles and like what rakes and shovels and implements of destruction.
Yeah. Shovels and rakes and implements of destruction.
Yeah, so shovels and rakes and implements of destruction. And like he's just a scary, big, scary looking slasher villain. I thought like his costuming was the best in the movie.
Yeah.
And so the that scene was pretty cool. And then like since the guy, you find he never paid attention really to the movies. Like he didn't even know his character's name.
Yeah.
And so he the character's name was Timmy, and he calls him Tommy, or Tommy and he calls him Timmy.
Yeah, it was one of those. And so he screws it up, and he's like, Tommy, just give me the hedge trimmer or whatever, and like the guy, and he stops him because it was the other name, it was Timmy or whatever.
Yeah.
Vice versa, whichever one it was, I don't remember. So he screws up the whole thing at that point.
Yeah.
Zachary Levi's appearance was really funny.
Yeah.
He was... What was their excuse for having him there? Like, he was... like, in a horror movie or something?
Yeah, I don't remember what his excuse...
Or no, he'd brought his girlfriend or whatever, right? And so, like, he's talking about how she'd just been murdered and
like, a bunch of his friends had been killed.
Right, and then, the character played by
Barbara
Dunkelman.
She's the
airhead.
Yeah, which is she plays the trope, the horror trope of being the airheaded bimbo girl.
But she's like all she can talk to him about. She wants to talk about Tangled.
Yeah,
all the time, and she's just like, oh, you know what? It's amazing, Flynn Rider. Just like this.
Yeah, that was a pretty funny scene. I'm kind of curious, like, what it was that got him.
Well, they talked about it, and he said, just like they need someone for the role in the Q&A, and it somehow had just put it out there, like, hey, Zachary Levi, like, and then he was just all for it. He's like, yeah, I like making those kind of movies.
Yeah.
And so he's just all for it. Plus, most actors, you pay them scale and they'll show up in your movie. So,
yeah. Well, like, who is it? Sam Jackson that will do any indie movie for really cheap?
No, it's Danny Trejo.
Danny Trejo.
He'll do it for like $1 or something, like ridiculously low.
He'll do any indie movie for like really cheap because he knows his name has some weight to it.
Yeah, some clout, and he knows that it's hard for indie directors to get their movies going, so he does it for like really cheap. If your budget is lower than a certain amount, he'll like do it for peanuts, basically.
Yeah. But so man. Yeah, this was a good movie. This is a really good movie. And honestly, it was a lot better than I was expecting it to be.
Yeah, I did see some things coming.
Yeah, but I mean, that's kind of the idea. Is it's an homage to all these horror tropes. So yeah, there's certain things you're gonna be able to predict.
Well, no, I mean not like just like that. I mean like the whole thing with his dad and his sister, the main character's dad and sister being behind it all.
And that was.
Because his sister was running around as a slasher character. I don't remember what they called him.
Yeah.
Character. And at first I was like, that's a woman in that costume. Just you could tell by the way they moved.
Yeah.
And like she is in on their dad's plan.
Yeah, and it was I mean, yeah, it was pretty obvious, pretty far out that it was going to end up being his dad who was the main villain, because um, Owen Egerton, the guy running Bloodfest, his character, he was the director. He mentions, or in a conversation, it's mentioned that his partner, who is controlling him, basically, is calling the shots there. That, you know, like they mentioned that there is a person who's a partner who's calling the shots, and so you kind of start putting two and two together, you know, and it becomes fairly obvious. I'd say, halfway through the movie?
Yeah.
You're able to call that? And they reveal it like 2/3 of the way through the movie?
Maybe a little. 2/3, 3/4 around there. The movie's not that long. It's only about like 90 minutes.
Yeah. It's about 90 minutes. But like I said, it's not necessarily a bad thing that you're able to call these things, because that's partially the point of the movie.
Right. Well, I think we've about wrapped this up.
Yeah. Go see Bloodfest.
Yeah.
If you missed the date to go see Bloodfest, go buy Bloodfest. I'm sure it'll be up on, like,
streaming services.
Yeah. I'm sure it'll be up on streaming services, and as well as you'll probably be able to buy a Blu-ray from the Rooster Teeth website, I would guess. So, yeah. That's all I gotta say. It's all you gotta say.
That's all I gotta say.
All right. So coming up, what do we got? What's our next thing? Christopher Robin. We're late to that.
Yeah, we were out of town.
Yeah, at RTX.
Seeing Bloodfest.
Yeah, we saw it more important to see Bloodfest than Christopher Robin. Or something. But yeah, so Christopher Robin, and then this week is Mile 22. And I think Black Klansman is this week?
Yes, I believe so.
What does IMDb say here? IMDb is the only source for movie information, as far as I'm concerned. Well, according to IMDb, Black Klansman came out last week.
Yeah.
But I think it's not coming out where we live until this weekend. But yeah, we also got Mile 22. Let's see. Oh, that's weird. It's not showing me any of the stuff that comes out on the 10th. It's only showing me on the 17th. That's weird. So yeah, I guess Black Klansman is this week. And Mile 22 is next week, as well as Alpha, which I'm curious what tone they settled on for that movie. Since the trailers changed. Yeah, they pushed that movie back like 12 months, man.
Trailers totally changed tonally, and they pushed the movie back. I wonder. Well, I mean, I'm guessing the second trailer is more accurate to the tone of the movie.
Yeah, which sucks because the original trailer looked like a better movie.
It did. Yeah. Maybe they were, because it looked like you're going from, like, I don't know, changed from a more adult movie to a more family oriented movie, and it just didn't look as good.
It just doesn't look as good now. Still gonna see it though, because it's about doggos. But then after that we got Happy Time Murders, which looks really funny, and Operation Finale, which looks really good. That looks like total Oscar bait. That has Oscar Isaac in it and Ben Kingsley, which is enough reason to see just about any movie, frankly.
True that.
So that's what we got coming up for the rest of the month of August. Take a look out for those. If you like this review, check out other reviews on this channel. What was our last one?
Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible. Also a really good movie. So check that out. We also do gameplay videos that get posted up on here, stream over on Twitch. And yeah, so till next time. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Toodles.